Great. Welcome everyone to the Town of Greater Napanee Committee of Adjustment for the 13th day of January 2026. We'll call the meeting to order and we'll look for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Moved by Councillor Martin, second by Deputy Mayor Calver. If there's no further comments, questions, concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none. I look for a motion to adopt the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment for the 9th day of December 2025 to be received. Moved by Councillor Norrie, seconded by Deputy Mayor Calver. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Land severance application, PLLA 2025-066, 2001 South Shore Road. Roll number is 1121160-030-27400. Owner is Hey Bay Genetics, and the applicant is David Kapus. Is there anyone here to speak for or against this application? Okay, did you want to have an opportunity to speak for or against, or are you just Okay, perfect, sir. I'll tell you what, we'll listen to the information that's going to be provided by Mr. Nobes, and then I'll come back to you, and if there's any questions you have, and along with any questions of council, we'll get you to come up to the front and identify yourself, and we'll see if we can't sort it out for you, okay? Perfect. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you, through your worship and to the committee. I'm going to be filling in for Mr. Nanton tonight. He had a family obligation to attend tonight, so I'm going to present his materials to the committee this evening. So the first item up this evening is application PLLA 2025-066. This application seeks to add approximately 1,500 square meters, or about just under half an acre of land from 2001 South Shore Road to the abutting property to the east, 1949 South Shore Road. The general site context includes shoreline residential on the north side of South Shore Road and predominantly a large agricultural land holdings to the south. The site itself is zoned shoreline residential and is designated as such in the official plan as well. So on this sketch, the committee can see the land to the east, on the east side of the sketch, is 1949 South Shore Road. This is a 0.4 acre lot, so an undersized lot today, and the land being sought is approximately 1,500 square meters in size to come from the property abutting to the west, known as 2001 South Shore Road. It's a very lengthy lot. This portion of property that's being sought is effectively not being used by 2001 South Shore Road. The house itself is quite a distance west. This land holding wraps around the shoreline for quite a distance, over a kilometer in length. And the deeper part of that lot is further west. So this land is effectively not being used by 2001, and 1949 abuts it. So they're seeking to increase the size of their land holding to bring it closer to compliance with the requirements under the zoning bylaw. Although this wouldn't result in full compliance with today's standards. This is an existing law, and it's making a poor situation a little better than what it is currently. So it would provide greater opportunity for installing a new well or installing a new sewage system down the road, et cetera, is really what the intent here is, to staff's understanding. Staff aren't aware of any immediate development plans on the land to be added to this property. From a technical perspective, staff have reviewed, agencies have reviewed, and we've had some general inquiries from the public. No concerns or opposition raised. So with that, I'm available for any questions that the committee might have.
Great, thanks, Michael. We'll start with council. Council, do you have any questions of Michael with respect to the application or the presentation that's before us this evening? No, seeing none. Sir, Michael, Mr. Nobes has given us a description as to what's going to go on. Great. Okay, sir, just before we go any further, did you have any questions or comments for Mr. Nobe with respect to what's being presented, first of all? If you do, we'll get you to come to the... Right. So do you don't? Okay, perfect. Do you have any specific questions with respect to what's being presented tonight, though? Okay, perfect. That's all I wanted to make sure that you didn't have any questions. If there was, we'd try and get them answered for you. So I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. And I know that there's no questions or comments from anyone's of council. And Michael, is there anything else you would like to add?
Through your worship, no, nothing additional to add at this point.
Great, thank you. We do have a recommendation that the committee receive for information the staff report for application PLLA 2025-066, and further that the application to permit a lot addition of approximately 1,500 square meters to an abutting 0.4 acre lot be approved, subject to a number of conditions that are contained within this evening's report. Moved by Councillor Shank, seconded by Councillor Hicks. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed, motion's carried. Thanks, Michael. And you're going to deal with the next matter, which is file number PLEASR 2025-076-2060 South Shore Road. Roll number is 1121-160-030-2700. Owner is Hebe Genetics, Inc., and the applicant is Eric and Mark Davis. And once again, is there anyone here that would like to speak for or against the application that's here this evening? Seeing none, go ahead, Michael.
Thank you, Worship, and through you to the committee. So this application seeks to establish an easement predominantly, and it's in the exact same area of the former application that we just heard previously. So this image just shows generally the site context. Again, shoreline residential development on the north side of South Shore Road and large agricultural land holdings to the south. The lands that would benefit from the easement would be are on the south side of South Shore Road and are a part of the overall agricultural land holding. This is the intent of this application is to install or seek approval for an easement across lands on the north side of the road that are also owned by the applicant to access a well. So an existing well is in place that services the house on the south side of the road, part of the farm holding. And there's already an existing water line running under South Shore Road to this well. And the intent of this application is to legalize that existing situation. So here on this image, it shows the general location of where the easement is sought and the approximate location of that water line and well. I would note that this is further south or west of the lot addition that was just sought. So this is wholly on 2001 South Shore Road's property and would not be included within the lot addition lands that we had just discussed. So again, the intent is a 10-meter wide easement. That's to provide a little bit of flexibility on citing the location on a reference plan of survey, because the actual location of the water line is not exactly known, but the 10-meter wide easement is going to give enough flexibility to ensure that that water line is contained within the legal boundaries of such easement when it's established. There will be more in-depth investigation done prior to the survey bars being set to make sure they're placed in the correct location, but staff are comfortable with the overall size and configuration of the easement sought. After circulating to technical agencies and internal departments, conservation authorities, county did not have any concern. Our public works department did identify that they'd like to see a municipal consent sought for this. So we know there are a number of these water lines all throughout South Shore Road, and getting municipal consent to allow for the water line to remain would at least put it on our radar when we get requests for example, Bell or Explore putting in new infrastructure. We're aware that there's a water line in the general vicinity, and it's helpful to provide that to external service providers. So that's one of the conditions that is being proposed this evening for this easement, is that a consent of the town be provided, and that's to simply just to recognize the existence of this water line. So with that being said, staff's recommendation is for approval, subject to the conditions identified in the agenda.
Great. Thanks, Michael. Is there any questions or comments for Michael with respect to the application or the presentation? Seeing none, we do have a recommendation that the committee receive for information staff report for application PLEASR 2025-076, and further that the application to permit the creation of an easement be approved, subject to a number of conditions that are contained within this evening's agenda. Moved by Counselor Norrie, second by Counselor Martin. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? The motion's carried. Next matter is a minor variance application, PLVAR 2025-075, 6204, County Road 9, roll number 1121-130-010-10500. The owner is Michael Cuthill and Leighsa Cuthill, and the applicant is Michael Cuthill. And is there anyone within the council chambers that would like to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, Michael, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Worship, and once again, through you to the committee. This application seeks approval for a minor variance to allow for a reduction in retained lot frontage for a property that is predominantly being used for agricultural purposes. The general site context includes predominantly agricultural land holdings, rural residential development, and shoreline residential development along County Road 9 in this general vicinity. This application being heard this evening was appended to a previous consent application. That consent sought provisional approval to sever the existing house from the southwest corner of the land holding today. If you can see on the screen here in the very southwest corner, there's a treed area there, a treed block. Within that, there is a house. That house has received provisional approval for consent. And one of the conditions that was imposed was a minor variance to address the retained lot frontage of 47 meters as proposed. The lot has been surveyed and the retained frontage has been determined to be approximately 48 meters. Staff are recommending giving approval for 47 just to give just a minor amount of flexibility if there's any variance between the survey being completed and any hiccups that might come about through the registry process. So here we see the general intent of the proposed application being the minor variance and showing the severed and the retained parcels. I would note that the lands to the east do have a shared entrance, and this was considered through the previous consent application, and that shared point of access is being addressed through the conditions of that previous consent approval. Through that consent approval, staff did consider the reduction in the retained lots frontage, and it was determined that given that the predominant agricultural activities are set further north or back of the house in the area in which consent was provided, it's predominantly going to be used for simple access into the interior of the site, and the agricultural activities take place further north. So the retained frontage being less than the minimum in the zoning bylaw, staff do not see it as being a challenge for the actual functionality of this site after the severance. So with that, staff are ultimately recommending approval. There were no technical comments from agencies and no comments from members of the public that were received through this circulation. And I'm available for any questions that council might have.
Great, thanks, Michael. Is there any questions or comments from Michael with respect to the application or the presentation? Seeing none, we do have a recommendation the committee received for information, the staff report for application PLVAR 2025-075, and further the application for 6204 County Road 9 requesting the following variance be approved. Bylaw number 02-22, requirement section 5.6.3 sub B, minimum frontage for non-residential rural lot 100 meters, proposed 47 meters frontage, relief requested reduction of 53 meters in lot frontage. Moved by Councillor Shank, seconded by Councillor Hicks. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Thanks, folks, and we'll look for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Hicks, seconded by Councillor Shank. If there's no further comments, questions, concerns, all in favor of the motion to adjourn. Thank you, and we'll see you in a few moments for our regular session of council.